What's up guys, and welcome to a new C# tutorial. And today I'm gonna show you the try-catch statement. So let's get straight into it. What is a try-catch statement? It's basically a way to check if it's gonna crash the application, and if it's about to crash you can perform a different code. It's easier to just show you, so let's get straight into it. So let's create a simple string real quick. Over here, string input equals console.readline, and let's do a console.write, and let's say please fill in your number. So what we're doing over here is we're asking for a number. Let's do it like this, and then we're gonna do a console.readline. But as you can see, this returns a string value. I can't hover my mouse over it because it will disappear, but if you look, it returns a string, so we can't make this an integer int input, and we can't use the string to subtract, add up, maybe even divide or multiply or whatever you want. So there is a function to change this to an integer. Well, there's even two functions to do this, two ways. We can do int.parse, and then we can do input in here. This will parse the int to the input from the input value. What we can also do is grab the convert.to, and then there is even more. There's so much in here. But the one we want today is toInt32. This is a normal integer value. You can also have toInt16, which is a short, which is a smaller 16-bit integer, or toInt64, which is a long, which is a 64 signed bit integer. But today we're going for a normal int, which is toInt32. And in between here we're gonna do the string. We're gonna convert, which is input. So let's run the code real quick and see what error it gives. So let's say fill in a number, and we're gonna say hello. And as you can see, if we wait a few seconds, it's gonna give an error, and it shows format exception was unhandled. An unhandled exception of type system.format exception occurred in mscorelib.dll. Additional information: input string was not in the correct format. That's because it couldn't convert the string of hello to an integer. So if we, for example, let's make this a variable. So int num, and we can over here do console.writeline, and we can put num in it. Let's do that. So what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna type a number, and as you can see it prints 4. But if we restart the application and we type hello again, it's gonna crash again. So what we can do to do this is a try-catch statement. So in here we're gonna do try, then a curly bracket, and if we do this down here, the new curly bracket, it's gonna give an error because it doesn't recognize the num integer, because it's not in the same structured thing, you know. So what we need to do to fix this is just place the console.writeline down here. So now you can see the red line under here, because we need to do more. We need to do catch, because this is gonna happen when it catches an error. So let's say console.writeline error. It's not a number. Now let's say input is not a number. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna do console.writeline it's gonna create string input is console.readline, and then it's gonna try to convert, because this one throws the format exception. So then if it's gonna try that, and if it throws no errors, and if this one throws no errors, then it's just gonna do this code, and then after that it's gonna continue to console.readline. If it catches an error in one of these codes, then it's gonna go to the catch and don't perform this code. So then it's gonna do this. So let's look at this real quick. And let's say hello, error, input is not a number. So let's run this real quick again. And let's say 7. It prints 7 because that's how we programmed it. There's another thing to a catch statement. As you can see, the convert.toInt32 throws two exceptions. And one is the format exception and one is the overflow exception. The format exception is when the integer is too big. It can't fit in the 32 bits. So let's try something with this. And if it catches a format exception, then it's gonna write error, input is not a number. Then we can do another catch, and let's say overflow exception. If it's gonna catch that, then it's gonna write this number is too big for an integer. So let's do this real quick, and let's say first let's say hello, error, input is not a number. So let's run the code again. Let's say 99 for example, it prints it, which works. So now let's do something which is too big for an integer. So let's just do 9 everywhere. And run this. As you can see, this number is too big for an integer because it throws an overflow exception. It's too big to fit. It's not possible. So yeah, that's basically all there is to a try and catch statement. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.